Okay, how to skin a chicken. You take a piece of chicken and see it's got skin on it, and then you just stick your fingers under the skin and work it off. Just pull it off. Now be sure to get all that fat also. And then you just stick it in the pot. Now, the chicken fat, I take a scissor and you can just trim the fat off. Just like that. Get all that good fat. Somehow, because it just kind of, the blades kind of just work underneath the fat. And you don't usually get a whole lot of meat when you're trimming off the fat. Can you see what I'm doing here? Okay. And I have this cutting board on top of my stock pot, so I'm just sticking the fat in there. Now, to bone this, these are thighs. To bone the thigh, just take a knife, and you can see there's the bone. Here's the top of the bone and the bottom of the bone. Just cut along that bone. Now I will do this. I don't know if can you see how close I am to the bone? I can't get this camera any closer. Anyway, just try cutting all the meat off of the bone. It's pretty slippery, so be careful. And then once you have the bone, a lot of times I'll just wring this bone and then slide my knife down the bone, then wring the bone down at the bottom, and then slide the knife down. Now you have this bone with meat on it. Just throw that in the stock pot also. And there you have a boneless and skinless thigh. And now if you look here, there's usually a big nice chunk of fat in the center. Once you open that up, that fillet or whatever you want to call it now up, you can get that fat out of there and throw that in the pot. Anything that I also get, these veins, and I throw that in the pot. And it looks like there's a piece of bone here, or cartilage. Sometimes when they butcher them, they don't do such a great job. So I'll just cut that off and throw that in the pot. Everything goes in the pot. Nothing gets wasted. Okay, so there's my pot of chicken skin and bones. Okay, so there are the chicken skins. They're cooking and the little pieces of fat are cooking. And while this is rendering or cooking, I will cut up the vegetables. Peel the carrots and then check the fat, the skin. Okay, it's time for this skin to be turned over. Okay, and now it's time to check the chicken fat again. Ooh, it's rendering nicely. Okay, one thing I forgot to tell you, I put in fennel. You don't have to have it. I just usually, you can't really even taste it. I just usually do one stalk, one top. And I don't usually cut it up. I usually just throw it in the pot, something like that, so that I can take it out after it's cooked. So, I'll wash that off. Okay, so now it's time to cut the onion and garlic. Okay, the vegetables are all cut up. I've got at least 6 cloves of garlic chopped up, 2.5 carrots, celery and more celery, and 1.5 onions. So anyway, this is what it looks like after it's all rendered. It could have been rendered longer, but, and it's pretty crispy. Actually, I know people that will eat this like potato chips, kind of. It's pretty tasty. I'm also going to use some of it to fry up those chicken thighs that I boned and skinned. Okay, now the soup. I put in a little bit of olive oil. Can you see that? I don't know, maybe about a couple tablespoons full. And now I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit. Okay. Add the vegetables, the chopped up vegetables. And let those cook for a bit. You can see that it's starting to make its own juice. Okay, now it's been cooking about about 2 or 3 more minutes than last time. Okay, so this has been now cooking a little bit more than 10 minutes. The bones are all, they're turning brown. The vegetables are all pretty sweated. So now I'm going to put in some stock. I got this kind of stock. It's bone broth, it's reduced sodium, and it's organic. It's gluten-free, it's fat-free. Okay, so now I'm going to put I put the stock in there. And now I'm going to put some white wine, and I have some Prosecco. So I'll throw a little bit of that in there too. So that's how much Prosecco I put in. Maybe about a sixth. I'd say there's maybe an inch and a half in there. Okay, so now it's got Prosecco and Pinot Grigio. And it's about a little bit more than half of the container. I'm going to put that in there. And now I'm going to put a container of water in there. Okay. So now if I was doing this for the family, I would have doubled that. So this would be enough right now for me and Grandpa to have a bowl or two of chicken noodle soup and then fill up a container to freeze. So I would bring this up to a boil and then cover it and let it cook pretty much all day until the vegetables are really soft, and then I would get rid of the bones and get rid of the fennel, and I would use a food processor to puree all the vegetables. And I'll probably show you that later.